and all-powerful, starting with the elderly wolf uncle. Chapter 9. No one cares if they live or die. Who the hell are you? Bruce Wayne was completely stunned when he heard this. He left Gotham for 10 years, and he came back still young and vigorous. On the surface, he is a vigilante to punish rape and evil, but in fact, he is also looking for the murderer who shot his parents that year. Now, his mind seems to be inferior to that of a 17 or 18-year-old teenager. And the psychology or skill shown by the other party are far beyond his expectations. It's not at all like what a teenager should have. He was curious about the identity of this guy. However, just after asking this sentence at this time, hurried footsteps came from both ends of the alley, and then I saw a group of people with guns each encircling the alley. Their eyes were locked on the two in the alley. It seems that there are few fierce people. Chen Tian was a little surprised. He didn't expect to be targeted after only a while. He turned to look at Bruce and wondered, have you provoked anyone lately? Quote, I am investigating a case of missing persons, and there were people who came into contact with them the day before yesterday. Bruce Wayne swept the sides and said in a deep voice, wait a minute, I'll take you away. The enemy is outnumbered to their advantage. Although he hated this yellow-skinned boy in his heart, he couldn't let the other party stay here and wait for death. Don't be nervous, they're the ones leaving. Chen Tian seemed calm, and bullets could not kill him at all. Perhaps, but they have guns in their hands. Bruce Wayne was speechless. He didn't know what this guy was going to do, but as long as it wasn't too crazy. It's just that. Apparently Bruce has been away from Gotham for 10 years and has not been able to readjust to this crazy city, and tonight he will meet a crazy person. ... Kneel for flower evaluation votes. The data is motionless, making people panic. Chapter 12. A fierce gunfight in the alley. Chen Tian who came back from the dead. The dark alleys shrouded in night are gloomy and dark, the damp floors are messy, and the garbage is piled up with moisture and corrosion, forming a dirty and disgusting picture. Tonight. Unknown alley, but exceptionally lively. Click. The sound of metal friction and collision echoed in the dead but extremely strange space. Chen Tian's eyebrows raised slightly, and he glanced at Bruce with a smile, and saw a thick sadness in the other party's eyes. Apparently, they all understood that it was the sound of a bullet being loaded. And such a sound says something. There is not much time left for them to make small talk. At this time, the noisy footsteps at both ends of the alley did not stop, but were approaching their position. Compared to the previous hurried pace, now it seems calm. After all, both ends of the alley have been blocked, airtight and without the slightest emission. No one will believe that the trapped two can escape. The group of thugs armed with guns kept approaching, and finally stopped at a relatively safe distance, a pair of fierce eyes staring at the figure in the middle of the alley. In the past few days, they have all heard that the recent police officer is very proficient. Because of this, these villains looked at Bruce with two completely different emotions. Half is abhorrence, while the other half is guarded. In the dim and humid environment, the atmosphere began to become dignified, and everyone couldn't help but hold their breath. A man resembling a small boss walked out of the crowd and stared at Bruce, dressed in black. Wayne hated his teeth itching. The night before, his men were sent to the police station by the recently rumored vigilantes. Not only that, but there was also a den that was almost exposed. Almost caused a great loss. This made him hate the name to the bone, and he was bound to eradicate the other party, so that the latter understood that the most real Gotham is not anyone who can come here as a hero. So he ordered people to pay attention to the traces of the policeman. Finally, tonight, an informant brought the news. That's why he rushed over with people in a hurry, wanting to get rid of them quickly. The little leader looked at Bruce angrily, and said in a calm tone, Gotham never needs heroes, boy, you came to the wrong place. Bruce looked indifferent and responded coldly, unfortunately, I think this city needs a hero to save her from fire and water. Quote. Then he lowered his voice and said to Chen Tian beside him, there are too many of them, we have to retreat first. Quote. In the heart of this fledgling rich young master, he was obviously not as calm as he seemed, and it was the first time he had encountered it in the current situation. Not at all as calm as Batman in the future. Don't worry too much, rich boy. Chen Tian shrugged his shoulders and looked unimpressed. It doesn't matter if there are many people, he has a super self-healing factor, unless someone can completely destroy his physical body, otherwise he may wake up. Shoot me, don't let them go. The little leader looked at the appearance of the two whispering, deeply felt the insult of the other party, and a flash of anger suddenly rose in his heart. He raised his hand and beckoned, and a group of subordinates agreed, and then jerked the trigger in his hand. Tap da. In an instant, a burst of fire flickered, and endless firelight filled the entire alley. The gangsters in Gotham City kill without blinking, not to mention that the other party touched the bottom line, naturally no one was soft-hearted. And the cold muzzle in his hand also became hot because of the bullets shot. Seeing this, Bruce Wayne secretly cursed in his heart, damn. Quote. Even if such an offensive caught him off guard, his years of training had already allowed his reaction to reach the peak level of human beings. So he did not have the slightest intention of slowing down his reaction in the face of the surging offensive. The moment the little leader was ready to give the order, Bruce's arm had already shot out a rope and plunged straight into the wall. He originally wanted to grab Chen Tian next to him to dodge together, but he didn't expect to catch an empty one. Just when he was surprised, his feet were already off the ground, and before he could react, the whole person was pulled upstairs by his own rope. Bang! Then, when he stood upstairs, his eyes quickly caught Chen Tian's figure in the narrow alley. At this time, Chen Tian was still standing on the ground, and countless bullets directly penetrated his body. Under such fierce firepower, Chen Tian couldn't even hold out for a moment, fell straight to the ground and completely passed out. Abominable. Bruce Wayne looked at the scene below and felt a strong sense of guilt in his heart. Although he hated this inexplicable teenager, the other party was implicated because of himself, resulting in the loss of his life. When the muzzle fire cleared, gun smoke filled the alley. The little leader stepped forward and kicked the corpse, lying on the ground with his toes, turned it over, and frowned slightly after finding that it was not Batman. Kill the wrong person. But Gotham death is a common thing, no big deal. Anyway, there are so many people who died at his hands, one more is not more, one less is less. It's just a pity that the policeman was not killed together. Thinking of this, the little leader took a sticky spit with a look of disgust, and cursed viciously in his mouth, "You deserve it, stay with a vigilante, and die a remnant." Quote. Immediately afterwards, he raised his head and glanced up slightly, just in time to meet Bruce's cold gaze. The little boss could feel the anger under Batman's eyes, and when he saw this, he was even more proud, and said with a sinister smile, "Shoot that damn guy down for me." The voice fell. His men immediately moved, aiming their guns upstairs in unison. Then the muzzle of the black hole was aimed at the black figure that appeared a little blurry in the dim light. Without saying a word, they suddenly pulled the trigger, and countless bullets shot out. The gunfire burst into dazzling light again in the dimly lit alley. The continuous shooting made the muzzle become slightly red due to the high temperature. In the face of such fierce fire suppression, Bruce's body is extremely agile, like a ghost, tossing and turning in a narrow environment, constantly moving between various bunkers. As for the rich night, it turned into his best protective color. Soon, many people lost their target and vented their gunfire on their own minds in the empty place. The scorching bullets hit the wall, shattering the otherwise flat masonry wall, leaving craters of varying shades. Some also fell on railings and other metal objects, making a ding sound and blooming dazzling sparks. The continuous gunfire directly broke the night that should have been calm. But in Gotham City, calm does not mean tranquility. Whether it's quiet or noisy, in every corner where dirt and dirt are hidden, how shocking things can happen. First chapter